The emotionally unavailable partner. They did not fall out of love, they fell out of effort. Still in the house, still paying the bills, still saying goodnight, and somehow that became the whole standard. They showed up, so you called it love. But presence without effort is not a marriage. It is a roommate situation with a ring on it.
Yinkuspepe Talks. Intelligent kind of buzz for the heart and the thinking mind. Marriage culture, commentary too. Life in the diaspora explain for.
Welcome back to Yinkuspepe Talks. I am Yinkuspepe. Here we have the conversations that change the way you see yourself, your relationships, and the life you are building. If you're new here, welcome home. Hit that subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. Now let's get into it. Throughout last week and 2 days ago, we have been talking about what silence does inside a house. Today, I want to talk about the people who produce it, not to tear them apart, to understand them, because I want to introduce you to Grace, sitting across from her husband, who is in every room and somehow completely unreachable, and to Marcus, the man who genuinely believes he's showing up and has no idea his wife stopped reaching for him 2 years ago. One marriage, two people who love each other, and a distance neither of them knows how to name. Grace and Marcus. Meet Grace. She's 39, 12 years married to Marcus. Marcus is not unkind. He's not absent in the physical sense. He's there at dinner, there at school events, there on the sofa every evening. But Grace has a phrase for it that she has never said out loud to anyone. He's present, but not available. She tried for the first 6 years to reach him. Date nights that turned into evenings about the children. Conversations about feelings that Marcus answered with solutions. Times she cried and he held her but said nothing because he did not know what to say. And he had never been taught that sometimes saying nothing is the answer. Marcus was raised in a house where emotions were handled privately. You did not discuss how you felt. You fixed the thing causing the feeling and moved on. He brought that architecture into their marriage without knowing it was architecture. He thought he was being strong. Grace experienced it as walls. 3 months ago, she stopped trying altogether. Not with anger, not with a dramatic declaration. She just quietly redirected her emotional energy towards her friendships, her work, and her children. She stopped bringing Marcus the things that mattered most to her because the experience of bringing them and watching him not know what to do with them had become more painful than keeping them to herself. Marcus noticed after a while and he said, "You seem different lately." And Grace said, "I'm fine, just tired." And Marcus heard himself. For the first time, he recognized those words. He had been saying them for 12 years to her. And in that moment, standing in that kitchen, watching his wife give him back the exact distance he had given her, something shifted. He did not know how to fix it yet, but for the first time, he could see the wall, and he understood that he had built it. The lessons. Now let's talk about what is actually happening in this home. Effort is not a feeling, it is a practice. And Marcus stopped practicing. He did not fall out of love. He fell out of the daily discipline of love, the curiosity about his partner, the willingness to sit with her feelings, even when he didn't know what to do with them. The habit of reaching in small, ordinary ways. These things do not survive on feelings alone. They require a decision made again and again in moments that don't feel significant but are. When Marcus stopped making those decisions, the marriage did not collapse, it drifted. And drifting, left long enough, creates a distance that starts to feel like its natural state. Many people withdraw first, and here is the honest reason why. This is not a condemnation, it is a pattern worth understanding. People raised in homes where vulnerability was met with silence develop a very logical calculation around emotional risk. If I open up and nothing comes back, I lose twice. That's what's in their head. So the safer move is not to expose. Marcus was not being cruel. He was being protective of himself in the only way he had ever been taught. But that protection cost Grace everything she needed from that marriage. Two people can agree to disappear inside the same house and call it stability. What Grace and Marcus built is not a bad life. It is a managed one. Safe, functional, but empty. And the danger of that kind of marriage is that it rarely produces a crisis loud enough to demand attention. Nobody leaves. Nobody breaks down. They just become very efficient housemates who want to love each other and are not sure what they are now. Until one of them says, "I'm fine, just tired," and the other one finally hears it. Or maybe doesn't. So what do you actually do in this situation? First, name it plainly, not as an accusation, but as an observation. I think we have been running this house for a long time and stopped running toward each other. I miss where we were. That is not a fight opener. It is a door opener. Second, one small intentional act every day, not a grand gesture. One small thing that says, "I still choose you." A question that has nothing to do with the children or the bills, nothing. 10 minutes at a table without a screen. Eye contact. That means something. Connection does not have to be rebuilt all at once. It has to be started over again. The first brick back matters more than the whole wall. Third, stop interpreting withdrawal as indifference and start asking what it is protecting. Before you decide your partner no longer cares, ask the better questions. What did they try to bring into this marriage that was not received? Because most withdrawal is not coldness, it is protection. And you cannot dismantle a wall you have not looked at directly. Now, I want to speak to the Marcus in this conversation. In this situation, the Marcus could be the wife or the husband, the person who is still in the house, but has not really been present in years, who tells themselves they are fine, just tired, just busy, who has not said anything real to their partner in years. In so long, they're not sure they even remember how to. I'm not here to tell you that you're failing, because you're not. I'm here to tell you that you are making a choice. Every day you stay inside the silence in your head is a day you are choosing the silence. And you are allowed to make a different choice right now if you still want the marriage to work. Not when things calm down, not when the children are older, because then it will be too late. Now, you did not stop loving your partner. You stopped reaching for them. Those are not the same thing. And reaching is something you can do today. One sentence, one moment, one decision to try the door again. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not years of work. It is one honest conversation. Start here, start there, and start today. If this conversation described your marriage or a marriage you know, share this video. Not as a weapon, but as an opening. Leave a comment below. Is effort something you have been deliberately practicing in your relationship? Or has it been replaced and been on autopilot for God knows how long? Be honest with yourself. For consultations or just to send me a message, you can reach me on yinkuspepetalks@gmail.com. And until our next talk, thank you for watching. And this is Yinkuspepe.
Yinkuspepe Talks. Intelligent kind of buzz for the heart and the thinking mind. My rich culture, commentary too. Life in the house for explain.